You know, I'd rather look at I'm a Mormon website than watch comedy on TV. Here's another one. Here's another one. In fact, there's two I'm going to tell you about here. You know, the Mormon church trying to harness the internet and trying to protect its good reputation and trying to put forth its public relations campaign is really like a one-armed paper hanger. It's the funniest thing you ever saw. I don't know if any of you have ever hung wallpaper. Most of you are just too damn young. My audience is right in the middle of the 30s, and you're too young. I've tried to hang wallpaper, and every time you put it against the wall, it takes two hands, because if you have one and you reach down to get the brush, it comes off and sticks to your damn head. So anyway, a one-armed paper hanger, fish out of water, whatever you want to call it. I'm telling you, this is a comedy act that it's just going to come back over and over again and bite them on the ass. They're stupid. It's old men listening to geeks. And the geeks, they just want to use the computers. And so anyway, they make these movies. I just saw this morning on I'm a Mormon. One of the guys slipped through the cracks, and he's going, I hate the Mormon church. I was born in it. Joseph Smith is a bastard. And he's on themormon.org. I am a Mormon. How long before? It'll only be hours. I made a copy on it, my favorite, so I can look at it again. But oh my gosh, he was just on there ripping him a new place to go poo-poo. And when the church has web crawlers, they crawl into my videos. So if I say Mormon.org, Mormon.org, Mormon, Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, Joseph Smith, their computer is rigged to hear those words, and then they put advertisements under my neck to say, go know the truth. And I go, okay, go know the truth. Meet these people. So this guy slipped through the cracks. And one of my other friends said, it's nice to see finally the Mormons telling the truth. He'll be gone. By the time I'm done with this video, the committee to strengthen the members will find him. They'll not only delete him, they may kill him. I don't know what the punishment for that is, to be on the main Mormon website. I thought it was a joke. I didn't think that, you know, he slipped through the cracks, because there's not many cracks in the Mormon church. They just, when they circle the wagons, it's close. He is on there, and I thought, like I said, it was a fake. So I clicked on the chat room, because it had the Mormon logo at the top. You can't do that. That's against the law if you're fake. It had to be the Mormon church. So I clicked on the chat room, and sure enough, it was the Mormon website. And you could chat with the missionaries, but you had to give your first name and your email. And then I'll do another video on this other thing. Then I looked up their privacy, their privacy policy. In a couple of words, there is no privacy. They do collect your name, and they do trace back to your internet service provider. So, you know, when you click on a Mormon website, they know where you live and what your first name is and what your email address is. And so all you Mormons that write to me and say mean, hateful, stupid things, the church can still find you, whether you have a secret handle or not. But anyway, this young man wrote in, and just, he probably wasn't much more, I don't know, 25, 28. And he said, you know, I water ski, and I surfboard, and I ride a motorcycle. He does exactly what all the other Mormons do, but he's out of the church. He goes, I'm out of here, folks. Yesterday, I happened to be at the bank, and I was talking to a gentleman, and he looked as LDS as any human can look. And he started talking to me, and I said, wait, before we start, let me just make an observation. Now, I've never seen the guy before in my life, and I said, how long did you spend in the mission president's office administrating and helping in the mission? And he looked at me like I was Jesus in the Sacred Grove. He says, well, how did you know that? I said, well, just your mannerisms and your ability to type, 120 words a minute. He said, well, you're right. And he says, well, tell me a little bit about your videos. What are they about? I said, oh, you don't want to know. I said, they have things to do with my experience in the Mormon church, which is not real complimentary to a lot of members. He said, I understand exactly what you're saying. Now, my sweet little missionary wife is sitting there right beside him, and I said, well, this is my sweet missionary wife, but I'm a resigned member of the church. And he says, I know exactly what you're saying. I said, how long have you been off your mission? He says, 3 months. And I said, and you're out? He goes, yep. He says, I just couldn't take it anymore. The more I read about it, the more I understood about it. He said, it wasn't what they said it was. And so he and I just laughed our ass off at the bank, and my wife is sitting there rolling her eyes. Mormons roll their eyes when they can't speak out and go, that's not right, that's not. They just roll their eyes. So anyway, I met him, and I'm going to tell you too, there's a Mormon bishop in England. Think of what his ward's name is, but you can probably get him on the internet. He resigned from the Mormon church as a bishop, and he has a letter in there to his stake president, and he has a letter that he read to his ward, and he said the same thing: 14-year-old girls being married, and seer stones, and treasure hunting, and running from town to town because of gold digging. He says, I can't do it. And so he resigned as bishop. He'll be excommunicated probably within the next 2 weeks. So you meet some people out there that are not happy. I'm not, with my experience. Well, the main part of my video today, other than the BS that I just gave all of you, is this gentleman. I clicked on him. I'm a Mormon, okay, and his name is Alex, A-L-E-X. Boy, B-O-Y-E, Alex Boy, and the Mormon Church has put a lot of money into his production that I'm a Mormon. He seems to have a dark skin, and as a matter of fact, it's not brown, it's black. Now, the Mormon, I don't know if he's going to advance to the tabernacle choir, so there'll be 2 black guys there. I don't know. And again, I am not going to fault the man. The man is being used by the Mormon church. I think he's sincere. I think he's probably a wonderful guy. But the Mormon church is like an anthill. If you're black, they're just going to crawl all over you and put your face out there and say, see, we're not discriminatory. Now, here's what just makes me laugh my ass off on this one. Okay, now most of you that watch me are way too young to remember some of the old days and the old things. And when blacks were first coming out in our country, they shined shoes on the street. They would shine somebody's shoe, and you'd give them 10 cents or 15 cents, whatever. And the Lawrence Welk show was one of the most, and I know you don't even know who the hell Lawrence Welk is, but I'm telling you history. Lawrence Welk was very famous band leader, and he was on television. And if you watch any BYU channels in Utah, they're playing things out of the 50s and 60s, and so you'll see Lawrence Welk. Well, he had his token Negro on his show. He was pioneering. I mean, Sammy Davis Jr., he was married to a white lady. It was outrageous. The entire United States was just, couldn't believe that he was sleeping with a white girl. I think she was from Sweden. But Lawrence had his token Negro, and I'm using incorrect political words because I want to make a point here. Okay, so when black people, colored people, Negroes, niggers, that's what they were called, 60s, 70s. And when the church gave them the priesthood, they were niggers in 1978. Well, the jobs that they had were shining shoes and carrying baggage. You still see that in a lot of fancy hotels. It's cool to have Negroes waiting on the tables and carrying your baggage. The white people love that crap. They love it, especially the Marriott Corporation. I don't know. I stayed at a Marriott the other day, and you know, they're not. I didn't see any of the descendants of Cain there at all in Burbank. So anyway, the mental consciousness of our society was that they tap danced. That's the Lawrence Welk show. They had painted faces, white people that painted their face black and then acted goofy. And then if you were lucky enough as a black person to get a job in the movies or whatever, you had to have big eyes and big lips and hair, and you had to act really stupid, and that was hilarious. And so they basically carried baggage. They were on trains, marching up and down, clicking tickets. Very lowly jobs. I mean, you couldn't make a living, janitors, etc. But they were famous for tap dancing and the carrying baggage and shining shoes. And now, as I've progressed over those years, and you're young enough now that you can make a bigger difference. I was a kid of the 60s, and we did change the world. The kids of the 60s, we kicked ass. We went to the moon, and the rest of you haven't been back. So anyway, just a little commercial for the old people. The Mormons put out this video on Mr. Alex Boyd, and Alex in his video, and this is an expensive production. This is the subway train. I think it was Chicago, because they have an above ground subway train. They had the cameras on there and going down the subway and people in there and where this guy went and how he went to the movie studios and to the, you know, I mean, this was an expensive video. I could see this video probably was, God, I'm going to say about $100,000 to produce this, because it was overnight and it was makeup and script and on location. It wasn't just a guy sitting in a couch. Well, poor Alex is being used here, because what the black people have really come into, I have a 13-year-old girl, and my gosh, she listens to hip-hop and rap music, and you know, her iPod is always in her ear, and so the black people have basically come into their own in this day and age with music. They sing, they dance, their videos, their pyrotechnics, the whole thing. And many of them are very, very talented, and many of them are very, very rich. And one of them is president of the United States. So here the church is trying to show him as the average Mormon. Now, I have told you and told you over and over, many of the people who are converts and join the Mormon church are in the middle of a divorce. They're in some kind of poverty or some kind of a life crisis, a transition in life, sickness, death. Those people are very, very susceptible to love bombing and to hope. They need something for hope. So Alex is telling us that he's from Nigeria. Now, see, this is a good thing, because if you're black and you're from another country, you're more welcome here. But if you're born in Baltimore or Georgia, screw it. You're not welcome to be a Mormon. Okay, so as long as he is a black from a black country, he's a little more accepted in the Mormon church. Well, Alex said his mother, at 16, when he was 16, decided to go to back to Nigeria. Okay, and she never came back. Now, I'm only laughing at this, not because a poor 16-year-old kid became homeless. I'm laughing at this because I think that's probably the time he was converted to the Mormon church. He had no place to live. He had nowhere to go. He was walking the streets and living under bridges and whatever. And that's transition. That's trauma, where the Mormon church would just jump on you like, you know, the killer bees. So the video didn't mention when he was converted to the church. And then basically the video goes on how the church was a lifesaver to him, and probably indeed it was. If he was willing to join, they may have given him food. They may have given him, you know, rent money for, or letting a member put him in his house in a bedroom or whatever. So anyway, no, I can't even do that because you guys are too young. Have you ever seen when I said to put the black man in a bedroom in their house? Maybe in those days. we used to have little black men out front holding the horse. There's a statue, and he's black and he's holding the horse. So maybe that's what they do. I don't know. But anyway, he's now in London, I guess, and somehow he got into the music business. Now, the Mormons love this. They love it because they think that we're going to look at that, and some people do, and say, gee, you know, that's great that they helped this young man and he's doing so well. But if he went into tap dancing or he went into carrying baggage or that, you know, he was a waiter, he wouldn't have been on that movie. He wouldn't have been on that movie. The Mormons said, hey, he's in music now, so let's put him on I'm a Mormon. He's successful now to an extent. So let's put him and produce a $100,000 video that will try to fool the entire world that we love the blacks. And as long as they're tap dancing, as long as they're carrying luggage and shining shoes, music is okay too. Because in the early days of discrimination against the black people, music was their only outlet. Sammy Davis Jr. and so many others broke into American white society through the progression of music. So I just wanted to share this with you, that the Mormons think this was a great thing. He's not a businessman. He's not a white man's job. He is in music. And for the Mormons, they think, oh, this isn't discriminatory. Hey, you know, he used to tap dance and he used to shine shoes. And, you know, he's moving up in the world because he's a Mormon. So anyway, I wish my best to Alex. I hope he, you know, does well. He's had to work hard with his mother abandoning him. But see, the Mormon church didn't focus on him between 16 and 26. That's a sad story. And that may have been Mormon time too. But now that he has a record deal or something there in New England, or England, now he's famous, and now he's a Mormon. And many of us feel at times that the church has bailed our ass out of different things, and we tend to stay loyal to them and feel that it's a betrayal if we leave. And I've certainly felt that way. I've certainly felt that way at different times. But I don't anymore. So anyway, if you want to take a look at Alex Boy on I'm a Mormon, right now he's in the music business, whether he's tap dancing when you see him or carrying baggage or shining shoes, I don't know. But if he does that, the Mormons will not put him on I'm a Mormon. Thanks.